I like telling stories in a short way. When I was young, some of you were not very young, but I used to be an ardent listener to discourse around development. And in the 90s, there were certain important reforms that were proposed to African governments. These were commonly referred to as structural adjustment programs. That was actually by the World Bank. Those of you who are in development, as we are all in development, know the fact that those days, the World Bank would use interchangeably terms like the poorest of the poor, the most marginalized, the hardest to reach. Is that not so? You are experts in development, is that not so? And the difficult discussions where you had to frame your projects or discussions around the hardest to reach, the most marginalized. But this discussion has evolved to a point where we are saying, leave no one behind. So as the phrases, as the philosophy, the description of the philosophy keeps changing, have things changed on the ground? Or are things changing on the ground? When I go to Kitui, I still find a mother walking for 6 kilometers to go and look for water. The priority for that mother is this water important for my cooking, or will I bathe using that water? You certainly know the answer. She'll cook using that water. Will she take a shower? No. When I go to KISE, I find a child with multiple disabilities sitting under a tree, and parents telling me that yes, this child's mother would not go out to the farm because she has to take care of this child. Some of us say parents lock children in houses, but we never stop to ask whether it is locking them in the house or it is because they have no alternative. I was speaking to a parent somewhere who told me she has employed 16 house helps. Every month a house help comes, she has to leave. And the reason is these house helps cannot cope with the disability of that child. What are we saying as development experts to ourselves? Are we saying that it's not possible to distribute the knowledge, the resources that we have and the skills so that they reach those other people that are not in the frame of development? Are we saying that the sum total of our brains cannot innovate enough for us to think about solutions? Human beings are now going to the moon. Human beings are now even saying there'll be tourism to the moon. How can we be thinking about the moon when we have not just thought about our neighbors who can't access the basics because they have a multiple disability? How can we be very quick at counting we are in the 21st century, when in reality there are people among us who are still living in the first century by sheer fact of their disability. And how can we say we are a progressive nation when the rate at which we are moving ahead at our individual levels is faster than the rate at which we are moving together collectively? It is for this reason that we have to question ourselves. And we don't question ourselves in difficult terms. We simply say, where do I want to work? Do I want to work for the World Bank? Do I want to work for the government? Or do I want to work for an NGO? But the bottom line is, as I wake up and go to work, is my work touching that person who is still living in the first century, although we are in the 21st century? Is my work still touching that person who is left behind? Or is my work in effect promoting the gap? Because we can be making policies that promote those gaps. We can be writing, designing programs that promote those gaps. And we can be doing things that demean the work of others and in essence promote these gaps. So, the story is now finished. And what we are about to launch today as Sense International in partnership with others is a project which is designed carefully to try and reach children with multiple or complex disabilities. This project we are launching in 6 counties: Nairobi, Mombasa, Kwale, Kisumu, Kericho, Bomet, aims to reach at least 300 learners. And we would like these learners to try their chance at education in regular schools, in their nearest primary schools. We appreciate that there are not so many barriers, but one critical barrier that we have identified is that these learners cannot come to these schools when the school environment is not prepared for them. We want, through this project, to prepare the school environment. Through this project, we want to train people that we call teaching assistants. Teaching assistants are important for learners with multiple disabilities, just the same way sign language interpreters are important for children who are deaf. So teaching support assistants will help interpret instructional information from the classroom teacher, so that the learners with multiple disabilities also benefit from classroom instructions. In this project, we also know that there are those learners with disabilities who may not be ready for school yet. Lawrence talked about them, who are 1 to 3 years, who have not yet gained school-going age, but they need to be trained on certain things like communication. This project will support those learners. Finally, since International only has 7 staff, we don't have the capacity to develop a curriculum. We don't know how. KICD will be the one developing the curriculum. There's a partnership between SENSE and KICD. KICD has a mandate in terms of law to do that. So we are doing a standard and good curriculum through KICD. That's a partnership. KISE, its expertise is in training teachers. So we'll work with KISE to train those teaching support assistants. The Ministry of Education, you own the schools. We don't have any school. So we will work through the schools of the Ministry of Education to ensure that those learners with multiple disabilities are enrolled there. SCD, Action for Children with Disabilities, is a network of organizations. And as we sit together, every other time, we will be asking questions around, is this project on course? That's monitoring. But also continuously speak to the government through through advocacy and say to government, please improve this service or that service. Essentially, we are working together. This is partnership. But at an individual level, it's important for us to reflect. Surely, why must we talk about somebody who cannot be enrolled in a school when on the other side we are talking about people who now have 5 degrees? It's a shame. Thank you.